There we are. Hi, guys. Welcome to tonight's live chat. It's so good to see you. Let me go ahead and fix Instagram. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit late. I think I'm like a minute or so late. My computer decided to update and install all of its updates a little bit before I signed on. So let me fix Instagram briefly. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing okay. Hope your weekend is starting off okay. I hope that you're going to get some downtime. Here we go. Whoops. I hope you're going to get some downtime this weekend. I know I am. I need some downtime between the weather and clients and work and administrative duties and just having to be on for everyone. Isn't it a little taxing and draining? So hopefully we all get some downtime, right? This conversation tonight, hopefully this will be some of our downtime. We can talk about this and, kind of create some intellectual energy around this topic because it is interesting. And I know that you guys can relate to this. Let me type Instagram one brief message, guys, and I think we're good to go. I'm just waiting on them. They are the slowest to hook up live. They really are. There we go. Okay, let me type them a message and we're good to go. So I want to say, hi, friends. Come join me on my channel for a community experience. Okay, they're good to go. All right, guys. I see you guys signing in. Hi there, Lo Johan. It's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back tonight. Always love seeing you in the chat box. Hi, Be Wise. Haven't seen you in so long. Where have you been? It's so good to see you. Lo Johan, thank you so much for that. All of the things that you have been through, you're still thinking of me. And I find that so gracious. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. And Tylene, it's so good to see you as well, my friend. Welcome back. Jessica J, it's so good to see you too. Thank you so much. Feeling so much better. Oh my God. I finally climbed my way up to the top of feeling, like quote unquote normal again. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for that. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to get back to you guys because you guys are the highlight of the live chat tonight. But let's go ahead and jump in. It's good to see you guys signing in. Let's jump into the topic of when you speak up in your family, you get shut down. Do you guys get shut down immediately if you speak up in your family, or do you get ousted completely? There's a difference. Now, when I was looking at some of the research on this, I looked up two different avenues. I looked up social rejection and family systems theory. And here's what I found. Family systems theory said this, that there are actually 4 core needs that are threatened. I'm going to put this in the chat box for you. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. You're Pingisha. This is Elizabeth. It is so much better, right? Thank you so much. When I saw my kids for therapy this week, they were literally like this in the waiting room. And I went to go get them. I'm like, I didn't sound that bad. They were like, yes, you did. So they were happy. So I was happy too. But when I looked at the research, I'm going to put this in the chat box. And here's what the idea on social rejection says. Okay. There are 4 core issues here. When you are speaking up about something that is hush hush or taboo, you see something's wrong in a dynamic and you speak up on it, right? Ostracism reliably threatens 4 core components. One is belonging. So I'm going to say 4 core components. One is belonging. Okay. 2 in that system is control. 3 is self-esteem. So this is what is caused when you bring something up in a group or in a family dynamic and you say, you know what, something's messed up here. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it up. And I need you to hear me because something's wrong here. So whether that's in a social group or a family, you're saying something's wrong here. Research says that if you are ostracized because of that, pushed to the side, minimized, ignored, laughed at, made fun of, 4 different things can happen to you. One, is your belonging, your sense of belonging is threatened. 2, your sense of control in that dynamic is also threatened. 3, your sense of self-esteem is also threatened. Or 4, the ability for you or the ability the ability of you or for you to feel as if you can contribute meaningful existence. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4. Meaningful existence. So am I contributing anything meaningful to this particular group? You know, am I living a meaningful existence in this particular family? If I can't say, hello, something is up here. So 4 core components are threatened. Isn't that sad? You speak up, you say, something's wrong here. Hello, guys, don't you see it? And whoever is in that group or that family dynamic with you, they say, no, you're seeing this all by yourself. I don't know what you're talking about. No, we don't see it, Bobby. We don't see it. I think you're a little biased, you know. Or you may get some other family members that come up to you and say, do you really believe that's true? So they're scoffing at you. Maybe they're minimizing what you're saying. And there you are standing there. And the 4 components of who you are is targeted, right? Your sense of control in that dynamic, your sense of belonging may be threatened. Your self-esteem is definitely threatened, right? Because now you're standing there thinking, they think I'm stupid, or they think I'm crazy, or they really think I'm seeing things, right? So that plays on your psyche over and over and over. And then you may get to a place where you say, you know what? I don't contribute much to this group, do I? I don't contribute much because they don't believe me. And so that's social rejection theory. Now, if we look at family systems, here's what happens here. So I'm going to use my handy dandy whiteboard for this one, guys. You're going to like this. Hold on, because I'm going to show you this one. So let's say you're the family member that says something is wrong in the family. Mom is a narcissist. So I'm starting out pretty heavy, guys, okay? I'm giving you the big components of what we're talking about tonight, okay? So you go to your brother, let's say, and you say, you know what? Mom's a narcissist. So let's say mom is the narcissist, okay? So mom is the narcissist. So we know, okay? You go to your brother and you say, you have a sit-down conversation with him at Starbucks over coffee. I really think mom's a narcissist. What does your brother say? Why would you think that? Well, she has anger issues. She is selfish. She's dominating. She's overwhelming. She's controlling. She doesn't know how to accept anybody else's opinion. She's not allowing for me or you to have a life. She has destroyed every relationship you and I have tried to have, right? So here's you. And then your brother. I'm trying my hardest not to make this look like kindergarten, but just bear with me, okay? So you guys are the siblings, okay? And you're talking about your mom, right? So your brother goes to Aunt Susu, okay, and starts talking about you to Aunt Susu. You know what, Aunt Susu? Jamie came to me earlier and said she thinks mom's a narcissist. What does Aunt Susu say? What? Since when? Oh, I don't know. She just said, named all these things, start saying, you know, mom is this, that, the other. And I just don't understand where she got that from. I really just don't understand it. I mean, I'm wondering if something is wrong with her, right? So now your brother and Aunt Susu get really tight, okay? So here's your brother and Aunt Susu. Hold on, I'm writing this out so you can see it. So your brother and Aunt Susu now become twins. Okay, now they're together. Now Aunt Susu brings your uncle and gets him involved. So you're going to see how this dynamic works, okay? So Uncle BB gets involved. Uh-oh. So now you have brother Aunt Susu and Uncle BB involved. What? Why would she say mom is a narcissist? Brother says, I don't know. She just took me to Starbucks and started saying mom was a narcissist, So now it's three of you, right? Now it's three people against one. What happens to sister? Well, now everybody, all three of you, right, is against the sister. What happens in that dynamic? So here's how this looks, okay? I'm going to show you how this looks. See that? Mom is the narcissist. Can you guys make that out? Mom is the narcissist, right? You are the sister. You as the sister takes your brother out to Starbucks, right? The brother goes to Aunt Susu and talks about the meeting, right? And so Aunt Susu gets the uncle. And then guess what? It's the uncle, the brother, and Aunt Susu who are now on the same team. So now you've got a triangle, right? You've got three family members going against you, right? Now you're trying to understand, why are all three of you, I know it's confusing, but bear with me. Why are all three of my family members against me? Why is my brother going against me? Why is Uncle BB going against me? Why is Aunt Susu going against me? Why do I have three family members going against me? What I'm trying to share with my family is that I think our mother is a narcissist. And now I've got my brother going against me. I've got my aunt going against me. And now I have my uncle going against me. What happens here? Well, what happens is Uncle BB, Aunt Susu, and brother, they engage in what we call, I'm going to put it in the chat box for you. It's called freezing out. What happens when you are in a freeze out zone? Can you imagine when you are out in a freeze out zone? You are completely blocked from the family dynamic. That's called a freeze out zone. You are completely blocked from the family dynamic. So let me show you this. So your brother, I'm going to make this less confusing for you. Hold on. So your brother takes everything to Uncle BB and Aunt Susu. So here's how this looks. You can't miss this one. I made this one very, very simple. So this is what happens. There's you, and there's Uncle BB, Aunt Susu, and your brother. See that? That's a freeze out. That's a freeze out. You're at the top. They're in this nice little bubble at the bottom. They're together. And how does that happen? Well, you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know what you were creating. You thought, I'm just going to go to my brother, share that we have a narcissistic mother, and my brother's going to see things my way. We're going to have an adult conversation, right? We're going to get along. We're going to talk this out, and we're going to figure out what to do with mom. Wrong. When you are in a situation where your family is incapable of holding healthy conversations, it doesn't turn into a healthy conversation. What does it turn into? A complete freeze out, where that sibling or family member that you are talking to, they're going to run to another family member and they're going to yip yang. That's my made up word for talk a lot, right? Blah, 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 blah. They're going to talk and talk and talk and talk until they create a triangle behind your back, and you're going to be the one that's frozen out, right? So you're going to be the one at the top, right? And they've created this nice little bubble around them, right? Scary. And you don't even know what's happening. And sadly, you may not even know that that's what's happened. Now, here's what research calls it. Research calls it the black sheep effect. Have you ever heard of that? I'm going to put this in the description box for you. It's called the black sheep effect. What? Tamara sharing another new word with the channel? Yes, because you need to know this. Your power is in knowledge. right? Willis J. Sued Week. I'm going to say that. Forgive me if I said it wrong. Welcome to the channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you for the super chat. Willis J. Sudweek or Sudweek. I'm going to say that to you. Correct me. Says, my mom just took all pictures of me down quietly. Very sad, right? The thing that you want to be asking yourself, and I'd want to know this, what was the motivator? Like, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? I'm so sorry to hear that. That doesn't sound very nice, unless she had a reason. You know what I mean? Doesn't sound very nice. I'm so sorry to hear that. This may explain it too. This may explain why she took some of the pictures down. I don't know. Let me know if this sounds like you. But the black sheep effect, what's going on here? The black sheep effect is this. It's when a family, and it could be the example that I just gave you, when your family kind of freezes you out. They create this group amongst themselves, and you're kind of hanging out, looking in the window, wishing you understood what was going on inside the window, because they won't let you in the front door. They've actually pushed you outside of the house, and they've slammed the door, and you're standing outside thinking, what did I do to deserve being left on the front porch with no way inside the house, right? That's another way to look at, kind of being put in the frozen zone. That's another way to look at that. Now, black sheep effect is your family has slowly but surely put you in a deviant zone, right? So they have kind of punished you by slowly protecting the family image. And how do they protect the family image? Well, they've put you into a black sheep role, and you take all of the things that they don't want to be responsible for, right? And it's all placed upon you. You are the deviant one. So I'm going to put that in here in the description box. You are the deviant one, right? You are the one with the problems, not the family, right? Oh no, the family's not the problem. You're the one with the problem. And so everything kind of gets placed upon you. You're the one violating the family rules. It's not everybody else, right? You're the one who's violating the problem. It's so much easier to just name you as the black sheep than it is to look at the fact that the entire family is the problem. It's so much easier to just say that you're the problem, right? Than it is to just name the toxicity. If I name the toxicity within the family, that threatens the family's narrative, right? So I'm going to put that in here. So if the family names the toxicity of the family as you have, right? Because when you speak up, what do? You name the family's toxicity. They don't want that. No, shh, be quiet. No, you weren't sexually violated. That never happened. And no, it wasn't your brother. No, it wasn't Uncle BB. No, your stepfather didn't do that to you. That never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. No, you're the one who needs therapy. Sometimes parents who bring their kids to therapy, I look at them once, I look at them twice, I look at them 3 times, I look at them 44 times, and sometimes it's been a whole 2 years and I'm still looking at them, because sometimes the reality of child and adolescent psychotherapy is that the child may have some problems, but if you take a shovel and you dig deep, right, after so many sessions, you will find that beneath that child's psychopathology is the parent's psychological needs. And so sometimes the parent is the bigger problem, not the child. Sometimes the child is very, very stable, and the issue is the parent. The parent continues to behave in ways that causes a problem in the child's life, and they don't see it, And so a lot of times the black sheep effect is really just the parents' bigger issues creating a problematic seat for the child, if we're talking about children. So if you speak out and you say, this is wrong and that is wrong, it's so much easier for a family dynamic to just, hold hands and sing kumbaya and push you out into the middle as the problem, right? So let's say you've spoken up and you've said, this family is a whole mess. Well, family members can turn around and say, nope, 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 we're not a mess, you're a mess. We're not a mess. You're the drug addict. We're not a mess. You're the abuser. We're not a mess. You're the fast one, who was violated. You're the problem, right? So if the family names the toxicity of the family as you have, it's basically saying, yes, we are a problem, right? But they want to change the narrative. So let me add that in here. So if the family names the toxicity of the family, I'm going to put here, it will change the narrative, right? And they don't want the narrative to change, right? They don't want the narrative to change, because if the narrative changes, then we have to look at the family and say, so you are the problem, right? So they want to keep things the way that it has been, so that, we don't look at the whole family. We just look at the one problem, right? Now, there's a theory known as detouring. Okay. Detouring is this. It sounds big, but it's not. Detouring is really a pattern where tension that is in the family is redirected to one family member who becomes the target of rejection. So you speak up in the family, you're going to become the target of rejection. Okay. So tension in the family rises and one person becomes the target of rejection in the family. Okay. So you're the identified patient. And how does that happen? Well, you speak up. My mom is a narcissist. What? Your mother's a what? Yep. And my dad is a psychopath. And here's why. He did this when I was a child. Mom let him do this when I was a child. I caught dad doing this when I was 5. I caught my brother, assisting him in this when I was 5, right? This, that, the other was going on. And it can shock whoever you're talking to. It can shock family dynamics. It can shock grandparents. I want to acknowledge someone that just became a member of the channel. And then I'll continue to keep talking. Let me see. It is Jai959. It's so good to have you as a member of the channel. Welcome to the channel. So good to have you. And while I'm at it, let me also thank Fairy Girl. Fairy Girl, thank you so much for gifting memberships on the channel. Again, I'm so sorry. I meant to thank you at the very beginning. So very much appreciate you for being so giving and being so selfless. Very much appreciate you. And once again, Jai, welcome to the channel. All right, I'm going to get to you guys in just a little bit. I'm laying the foundation for you just so that you'll know kind of which way we're going tonight. But so detouring is kind of where we're headed. All right, guys, with this theory, it's here's what's going on in my family. Here's what I saw dad do. Here's what I saw my brother do. Here's some examples. And I am not the patient. They are the problematic. They are the ones who need the help. It is not me. Detouring says, nope, this is all wrong. This person is the problem. It's not the entire dynamic. It is this particular person here, right? And that's not always the case. Sometimes it is exactly the opposite. It's not the identified patient, so to speak. It's the family dynamic. Okay. I feel like I'm going to just say something else about that. Oh, you're the disruptor. So let me add this in here. So detouring means that you are also seen. If I can spell seen, you're also seen as the disruptor. Okay. What's the disruptor? It's the person who disrupts the flow of the family dynamic. And here's what's interesting. You are not the disruptor of anything, because the family dynamic has already been disrupted by toxicity from day one. So you're not the disruptor. You're part of the family dynamic. But because the dynamic is so toxic, And so dysfunctional. To the dysfunctional family, you are the disruptor because they can't continue to function in a dysfunctional way that they're used to. Does that make sense? You're there standing in the middle of the family saying, this family is insane. Hello? That is disrupting the family dynamic. They don't want that kind of disruption. You know what I mean? They want you to be quiet, close your eyes, don't say a word, fall in line, act like you don't see anything, act like nothing matters to you, be just as off-kiltered as the rest of us, right? Engage in lying behaviors, be in denial, act like you can't see the truth, and everything will be fine. But the minute you say, I don't want to be a part of this family, I'm going no contact, I don't want to lie, I don't want to live a lie, right? And you can add a bunch of other things. That's when you become the disruptor. Does that make sense, guys? So you're considered the disruptor. Now, here's another thing that I want you to keep in mind. One last thing. In these particular situations or family dynamics, you become one thing, and it is called a psychological threat. You become a psychological threat. How do you become a psychological threat? You are in the middle of your family in some capacity, screaming, our family is unjust. In some capacity, our family is unjust. That's what you're saying. So a psychological threat, and you may or may not be screaming, figuratively, right? Or literally, but a psychological threat screams, this family is unjust. Unjust. Something is wrong, right? Something is completely wrong. The family hears you screaming that, and what do? They see your reality. So your unjust family sees, I'm going to say, your realism as betrayal. Did you know that? Research in family systems therapy. I see somebody else I got to point out before we go to the chat box. In family systems therapy, your loyalty and your realism is betrayal to this family system. So I'm going to add that in here. So your realism and your loyalty is seen as betrayal in these family dynamics. Can you believe that they are seen, that those two things are seen as betrayal in a family system like that? What? Yeah. I was brushing up on the research and I'm like, oh my God, how is it even possible? Let me point out one thing before I go back and explain this one more time. Because I can't miss you. I've been trying to give closer attention to people who give time, energy, they donate, they're selfless on the channel. Bree, thank you so much for the super chat. You know, I appreciate you so, so much. You're also one of the selfless ones on the channel. Thank you so much for that. Bree says, please be kind and hit the like button, thumbs up button, helps everyone. Thank you, Tamara. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you so much for that. So, so, so appreciate you. I appreciate all of you on the channel. So, so very much. Yeah, I love that. Brie, it's good to see you tonight as well. Same thing for you, Fairy Girl. It's good to see you. Let me say hello before we go back to the chat box. Where did you go? I just saw you and I lost. I'm going back to the chat box anyway, because we have so much to get to. So I'll come back to you. Okay, so your unjust family sees realism and loyalty as betrayal. Isn't that sad? Realism and loyalty is seen as betrayal. It is so much easier to label you than it is to change. It is so much easier to label you than it is to change. And so as you continue to grow, in the midst of a family like this, you're going to see that it's like sandpaper, right? It's going to feel like you're trying to exist alongside sandpaper, because you're never going to blend. You're never going to blend. Everything that a dysfunctional family does is deeply psychological, and it is not as easy as it appears with your own two eyes. I'm going to give you an example before I go back to the chat box and engage you just a little bit. I had a family a couple years ago like this, and I had to make the most difficult decision of my life as a professional, because here's what happened. The family was a very, very broken family where mom had been sentenced to 15 years incarceration. She had brought into this world on her own, okay? 12 children. Can you believe this? And 12 children were all under the age of 15 years old. Okay. She adopted some, she brought them into the world. I think she adopted two, but the rest of them were all her biological children. She was selling drugs and doing drugs, and she was involved in some other shady business and ended up going to jail for 15 years. The sad part about that is when she finally got out, she was told to go get some therapy and put her kids in some therapy. So I took on 6 of her own kids for therapy. The sad piece of the puzzle is this, guys. Kids who have incarcerated parents, therapy is different for them. Do they have the ability to be successful in therapy? Yes, but therapy is different. There's going to be some different things that a therapist has to do. I'm well aware of that. And I had to kind of alter their therapy just a little bit. But there's a lot of foundation lacking already because they have a parent who is incarcerated. So in some ways, the kids would lie to me. They would, omit certain things. They would engage in unjust behaviors. They would manipulate. They would, twist certain things. They would exaggerate things. They would tell me. They would blow things out of proportion. They would kind of twist details and unravel the story in ways that didn't add up. And before I knew it, I start seeing behaviors in this family that led me down this road to see that the children were not that far from dysfunction, and the dysfunction that mom and dad were a part of as well. And sadly, I had to digest that there really wasn't that much hope for the children. That was a sad reality, and here's why. Not based just on the fact that the children were the result of an incarcerated parent, but it was the caregiver, the surviving parent, the father who was not incarcerated. That was the problem. Mom, being in prison, had her own life, right? She had to serve that time. But dad, being the caregiver, was not being a very good caregiver. Interference with therapy, interference with the therapeutic relationship, curtailing things, lying, manipulating, lying by omission, not being very responsible with the therapeutic relationship, late cancellations, not showing up on time, trying to play power games with the therapist. Like, there were a lot of things wrong with him. And little did I know, he was just as much of a problem as mom incarcerated was. The sad reality here, guys, was this. The children could not speak up and say, we need help, because dad wanted to be secretive, because he was also a liar. And a liar in many different ways. I would catch him in lies every single week in therapy. So he was a liar, mom was a liar, and the children were turning out to report things to me by omitting certain things, which also was making them liars. Tell me, how do you counsel a family that is that dysfunctional? It is the saddest thing ever, right? So when you are dealing with a family dynamic where speaking up is difficult, or asking for help is difficult, where there's chronic dishonesty, where there's fear of being open, where there's an inability to speak up and ask for help, right? Where there's anger issues, where there's a lack of belonging, where there's self-esteem issues, where there's a lack of control, where there's rejection, right? Where there's violation all around in the family, violation of privacy, violation of confidentiality, where narratives are being skewed and changed. How do you deal with that? You guys tell me. How do you deal with that? I'm the therapist, but you guys tell me. Tell me, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? That was the hardest thing. Do you know what I had to do? Do you know what I had to do with family? And this was 7 years ago, and I still regret the decision. I had to wisely refer and terminate. Why? Because at a certain point in time, a professional has to come to a place where they say, what's the likelihood of success happening in this dynamic? Is there more harm than good here? And if the children cannot speak up, and if the children are being told not to speak up, and if the family dynamic is so toxic and locked down that they can't speak up and ask for help without feeling ostracized and locked in, or made the black sheep or pushed over there as if they've done something wrong by asking for help, then success is very minimal. And so it's better if that therapeutic relationship ends, right? Because it's causing the children more harm than good. Tell me how you deal with that, right? Let me tell you, I was in supervision for many days trying to figure that out. All right, guys, let's go to the chat box. Let's go to the chat box. And then we're going to come back. When I come back, I'm going to give you guys some information on how does this impact you, right? How does this impact you? And then we will go ahead and go back to the chat box, and then we're going to wrap up. All right, guys, you're going to want to see me tomorrow too, because we're going to talk about some more interesting things. All right, guys, Becca K4H, I don't remember seeing you, so welcome to the channel. It's so good to have you tonight. Becca says, this is so validating. I felt alone for so long. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so glad you're feeling validated. You might want to come see me tomorrow too, because we're going to do more of this. But guess what? It's going to be a little bit deeper of a conversation. So stick around, Captain Commenter. It's so good to see you. When I mentioned on Susu earlier, I'm like, this is Captain Commenter's road right here. I knew you would love this. I knew you would love that. I knew you would love that. Quiet Papa, hello, my friend. Welcome. It's good to see you. He says, disruptor. Well, that sounds like me, but I do it subliminally, silently, remotely. Well, disruptors aren't all negative, right? Sometimes a disruptor is needed to kind of stop things and then get it re-triggered and back on the right page again. You know what I mean? All right, let me make sure that I'm getting to all of you. Let me go all the way back up to the top. Oh, goodness. Okay, Brandy Nuance, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. I also see Sambuca Speaks, Pooh Bear, or Courtney Frazier. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Courtney Frazier, let me look at yours really quickly. She says, not only does this describe me perfectly, but it seems to describe my family's dynamic perfectly. Wow. I'm sure it does. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I think a lot of you would relate to this dynamic for sure. NGO, oh God, NGO says, oh boy. NGO, it's good to see you. Welcome back. Orlando, hi, my friend. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Yeah, you're the Aunt Susu and Uncle BB lover too. The Good Glow, it's so good to see you. Welcome back. It's always good to see you in the chat box. Breathe 333, it's good to see you as well. Let's keep moving. Anthony Roberts, hello. Welcome to the channel. It's so nice to have you in the chat box. Anthony Roberts says, good evening, everyone. Anthony from Huntington Park, California. Thanks for having me, Tamara Hill. Yes, you're welcome. It's so good to have you. I don't remember seeing you, so it's good to have you on. All right, let's keep going. I know, right? Thank you. I have to come up with stuff. I have to make this interesting, Jessica J. I do. I know. Sambuca speaks. I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk about you every single live chat. I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At the same time, isn't it validating though? Isn't it? All right, I'm looking. I'm looking. If I'm quiet, that means I'm really thinking and I'm looking. I'm sorry. Eco Life, it's good to see you. Welcome back. I know, right? I know. I love it. And I love the new people too. All right, let me keep moving here, guys. Forgive me if I'm way, way behind. Rubber Biscuit, I love that so much. Give it a life. It's good to see you. Welcome back. It's always good to see you. Um, Cam goes camping. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I agree. I love art time with Tamara. And I love being here with you guys too. And I love seeing you in the chat box. I hope you're doing well. All right, let's keep going. Sarah Kinston, it's always good to see you. I always feel like I mess up your name. I'm sorry. It's not personal, believe me, because I always love seeing you and that smile in the chat box. So welcome back. It's good to see you. Anaphylaxis, it's good to see you. Welcome back, my friend. James Mitchell, it's always good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Andrew Mercer, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. Yep, that's good. CBs, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. Yeah. CB says speaking up means retaliation will be coming. They find a way to get back at you for telling truths in the family. Sometimes they do, 100%. That's why when kids come into my office, for example, and especially when I have already given the paperwork for them to complete, and parents have already sent in the intake paperwork, they've already done the policy paperwork for me, the privacy policy, they've already given me information. I will oftentimes bring the parent and the child together for the first appointment. For the second appointment, I will split parent and child up, because here's what I have found. If I have the parent and the child together every single session, the child is usually holding things until the very moment that he or she and I have time alone in a session to tell me, because they don't want the backlash from mom or dad for telling me they've cut themselves, or they're suicidal, or they've had something going on with a boy or a girl, or they've been violated, because they don't want to have to deal with what mom and dad are going to say or do as a result. And so I totally get that. There are times where even some of the adults, okay, that come in to see me for therapy, they're like, are you going to tell my husband, are you going to tell my wife? And sometimes I will say, I can't promise you that's something that I can keep private. It depends on what the information is. And if they say something like, okay, I'm having an affair, but it was only a one-time affair, this, that, the other, then I'll say, okay, let's talk through it. But if it entails something that's going to impact your husband's health and his safety, then that is a problem. So I get it. You do have to kind of, what's the word, CBs? You kind of have to be wise that if somebody finds out information, or if somebody says something, there may be some retaliation. You know what I mean? So I very much agree with that. I very much agree with that. You have to be wise as to what family members or people around you find out or overhear or hear. Okay, let's keep moving. So in a nutshell, I agree with that. Even in a therapeutic context, I think that's what I'm saying. Even in a therapeutic context, that can be kind of tricky. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Liz. All right, let me get this wrapped around my head. Liz Delgado, can I say that? Liz Delgado. I feel like I saw you already before, but I'm going to welcome you to the channel. Welcome. It's good to have you. Let's keep moving. Dean Edwin, can I say that? Welcome to the channel. It's good to have you tonight. I don't remember seeing you, so welcome. Phoenix Blue, can I say that? Yeah, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you. Phoenix Blue says, this is everything I went through with my toxic beginning. I had to step away from my family. My life is healthy and happy now. That's wonderful. It's sad when you have to separate from family, right? It can be a very lonely road just starting out. Then you can feel yourself in the stage of wanting to be back with them, right? And then the final pieces of that stage, you feel that freedom finally feeling your heart and your soul, and you say, you know what, this was a good decision, right? It's like in stages, you have to experience those stages. And then once you do, you can kind of feel your mind and your heart adjusting, and it feels freeing, right? Sarah Lee Lyle, or Leela, I'm sorry, I mess it up every time. Sarah Lee Lyle, it's good to see you. Welcome back tonight. Lady M 617, it's good to see you back tonight. Welcome back. Welcome back. She says, my mom said to me, that's why you and I could never get along. Also, she says, that is why the family is trying to figure out what's wrong with you. It's a shame. Oh, geez. I think that was the wrong approach. That was probably not the right thing to say. Ugh, I'm sorry she said that to you. Those are what my mom call inflammatory words. My mom says that all the time. Those are inflammatory words, you know? And I'm like, yeah, you know, because it kind of makes you want to, you know, fight, or it makes you feel a little bit defensive. That's the word I'm looking for. Miss Janine, it's good to see you. Welcome to tonight's live chat. Miss Janine says, this sounds like my family. They never have healthy conversations. I've learned to make peace, even though I realize I'm the black sheep. I love your explanation of the effect. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. You know, when you are the black sheep of the family, let me throw this in here, Miss Janine, nothing is going to come across as wise to them. It's not going to make sense to them. It's not going to click to them, because they are blinded by the black sheep glasses. All they see is that you are the black sheep. So they don't care anything about what you have to say. That is the sad reality. You know, you could be saying something very wise. Excuse me. They're not going to care, because they're seeing you through the lens of the black sheep, and that blinds them completely. Isn't that sad? Very, very sad. Angela, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. She says, narcissistic families silence you to protect their fake image. 100%. That's who they are. That's who they are. Christine P, it's good to have you tonight. Welcome back. Christine P says, I was always the black sheep, outsider, different one. Good to see y'all again. Yeah, absolutely. It's a hard, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a hard image to carry, right? Who wants to be put in those shoes? Nobody wants to be put in there. But if they're going to put you in those shoes, so be it. Right. I always tell my black sheep clients this, and my mom used to be a black sheep. She no longer is, I don't think. But I always tell my black sheep clients this: go ahead and be every bit of who you are, which is the total opposite of what they've assigned to you. And that is going to be evidence that you are not who they are, right? And you are not who they say you are. And I love when that happens. They say you're the black sheep, go be the total opposite. And there's your proof. You're not what they say you are. Right? Works for me. FC Dr. Right Life, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. I'm just going to post your comment on the screen there for people to see as I scroll. All right. Mary Sayer, can I say that? Mary Sayer, hello, my friend. Welcome to the channel. It's good to have you. If I haven't seen you before, I don't remember seeing you. Butterfly Spirit, it's good to see you back. Welcome. Butterfly Spirit, excuse me, says, thank you so much, Ms. Tamara, for your amazing work and community. You're welcome, and thank you so much for that. I'm so glad to see you. All right, a couple more comments, guys, and we're going to go. We're going to go back to the content. I'm sorry. We're going to go back to the content. My friend Smita, I was going to call you Lady Smita. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to go eat or something. My friend Smita, it's good to see you. Welcome back. Ellie Wen, I can't ignore you. It's good to see you back tonight. Welcome. All right. Jay Knows Better. Hello, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you tonight. Jay Knows Better says, I want no contact with my family to escape this very thing. Makes sense. I have a client who did the same thing. Seeing a lot of new people tonight. This is great to see. Jev M. Wildwind. Hello, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you tonight. Jev M. Wildwind says, my in-laws ruined my life and tried to ruin my marriage. The enmeshment is really bad. Yeah, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I have a client now who has dealt for the past 5 years with a family, in-laws who have tried to ruin every bit of her marriage. And it's an ongoing thing. So now that I have a new client who is dealing with the same dynamic, here's what I ask them every single session. Are you sure you can handle this? Before you say I do, are you sure that you can handle this? Because even though you love this person and even though this person loves you, you want to know, how far can I go with this before I get so exhausted that I recognize I can't even stay married to him because the in-law situation is that unstable, right? Because for every ounce of love that you have for him, it's going to be undermined by them, right? And so is that going to outweigh all of the wonderful things that you have in that relationship with him, right? And it's only going to get worse when the child comes along. So, you really have to think it through. So it's really difficult. I understand. It's really difficult. Excuse me, guys. It's like you really have to be wise, right? Excuse me. DKK6476. Hello. Welcome to the channel. It's good to have you tonight. Okay, I'm going to leave this up here for people to see as I scroll, and then we're going to go back to the content. I do want to get a couple more comments in here, and then we're going to go back. I see Ray. Is it Ray? Ray Scantleberry. Hello. Welcome to the channel. It is good to have you on the channel tonight. I don't see a comment yet, but I figured that I would just welcome you to the channel. Okay, let's keep moving. Wiggy, it's good to see you back, my friend. Welcome back. I think I said hello to you earlier, but I couldn't remember. Jay Hernandez, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Jay Hernandez says, thanks for speaking on this. I love your videos. Thank you so much for that. First time watching live. Oh, I thought so. So then I owe you a welcome to the channel. It's good to have you. Thank you, Miss Tamara. You're welcome. And thank you for being on the channel tonight. I thought you were new. I couldn't remember. Excuse me. I couldn't remember. I'm glad you joined us live. Yeah, it's good to see you. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Heaven's Dog Mom, it's good to see you. Yeah, welcome back. I feel like I saw you last live chat. Correct me if I didn't, but I feel like I did. Yes, I agree. Bree, I'm going to put you up here just so that people can see that because I very much agree. I've got to show you, I'll post it in the members only section, but I've got to show you the email that I got from YouTube last week. And they were like, you have such an awesome membership community. And I'm like, wow, it's wonderful. So I very much agree, Brie. I very much agree. Yeah. I very, very much agree. Okay, 2 more people, and I promise we're going back to the content. Tamika Brown, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. Always love seeing you in the chat box. Okay, let's keep moving. Home Within Me. It's good to see you. Welcome. I'm going to say welcome to the channel because I don't remember seeing you before, but it's good to see you. Home Within Me is my last comment. We're going to go back to the content. Home Within Me says, I just got blocked by my narcissistic or psychopath mama. Or mother, excuse me. I haven't seen her in 20 years. And during this time, she was always cold, disinterested in me or my daughter. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry you're going through that. I wonder why she blocked you. What was her reasoning behind that? I don't like parents who block and use social media and block unless that's her way of saying, I'm done with the conversation. If that's her only mature way of saying, I'm done with the conversation, okay, I kind of get that. But I just don't think, that's a mature way to deal with things. So I'm sorry that that happened, and I don't have the full story, so I can't really give you a grounded or a full, well-rounded view. But I just know that I don't like when you block people. I think that's the worst way to communicate. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. All right, guys, let's get back into the content. Okay, you ready for this? What is the impact? What's the family impact here, and what are the challenges? Here's what research says, and I have also dealt with this in clinical practice. You're going to deal with a lot of displacement and diffusion of responsibility. What is that? So I'm going to put this in the chat box. Diffusion of responsibility. Oh my God, if I can spell. Okay. Diffusion of responsibility. Come on. I gotta spell this right. Okay, so diffusion of responsibility. We know what displacement is, right? I'm going to take my negative emotions, right? And I'm going to displace them onto you, right? I don't want you speaking up about this family and telling people what's going on in this dysfunctional family, right? I know this family is a mess. I know this family is unjust. I know this family is wrong. I know this family is insane, but I don't want you talking about it. So don't talk about it. So all their frustration, right? You hear that? All that frustration, instead of getting upset with the fact that the family's a mess, what are they doing? They just place it onto you, right onto you, right? Displacement. Okay. So let me add that in here. So displacement. What is that? Defense mechanism. Defense mechanism, right? I'm not going to address the issue right here in front of me. Here's the elephant in the room. We're not going to address it at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on you for talking about it and bringing it up and speaking up about it and showing how angry you are about it, right? In a therapy session, many years ago, I'm going to say in 2018, and I was a baby in therapy. I didn't know as much as I would have liked to have known. I had a case like this where a young man, he had an autism spectrum disorder, and his mom was very abusive to him. And he was being violated by his father. And even though he was 17 years old, he didn't know. He didn't know, right? He was on the more severe level of autism. So he was more on the lower end where he didn't know what was happening to him. He didn't know what things were and meant, right? So his dad had a leg up on him. Dad was a pedophile. And in therapy, instead of mom getting upset with dad for violating their own son, right? Instead of her getting upset with dad, he gets, the easy road, and the son gets the anger from mom. So during the therapy session, I not being as experienced at the time as I needed to be for this particular case, I didn't realize that she was displacing all of her anger and frustration onto the child with autism. So every session, it turned into screaming at the child with autism and yelling and blaming. And you could have done this, and you should have done this. And why didn't you say that? And why didn't you speak up? And guess where dad was? Sitting right next to her, just quiet as a mouse. And you would think that mom would turn on that anger on her husband, who's sitting right here next to her on his way to prison for child molestation. But instead, she's yelling at her autistic son, or son with autism, who doesn't know what much of anything is. And I remember at the time having this internal clinical intuition that was growing and developing at the time. And I remember thinking something about this just doesn't feel right. And I started looking at some of psychodynamic therapy. I started looking at Sigmund Freud and some of his historical readings and writings and some of his research. And displacement was very helpful to me because it helped me kind of unravel what the psychology is around the idea of displacement. And so she was very much doing that, taking all of her anger and her hostility that was rightfully towards her husband and placing it onto her son. Now, there's an adjacent or a very a typical term that we can also align here, and that is diffusion of responsibility. So here's also another word. So diffusion of responsibility is, I'm going to put it right here in the chat box for you. Diffusion of responsibility. It's a psychological concept. And we've seen this before, where somebody in the news is getting harassed, beat up, assaulted, and guess what everybody else is doing? Standing back and watching. Nobody will step up and stop or beat the person up that's harassing the other person. Nobody will call the police. Nobody will get involved. Nobody will stop the crime. Everybody just stands and looks and watches the thing happen. Because here's the idea inside the mind of people who are standing there watching this thing happen. Here's the mindset. Somebody else will get involved. I don't want to get involved. I'm scared to get involved. Well, what if the guy comes after me? Well, what if I get in trouble with the law? Somebody else will get involved. Well, that man over there may get involved. That man looks like he may get involved too, right? So diffusion of responsibility is, I'm unlikely to take action here because that person over there may take action, right? So I'm going to let the responsibility go to other people rather than for me to do it myself. So I'm going to put that in the chat box for you. So that's diffusion of responsibility and displacement. So that's part of it. The other thing is blaming. So you're likely to develop in this dynamic within the family, being blamed for just about anything that you can be blamed for. And there's also a dehumanizing effect that happens as well. You're dehumanized. If I can minimize your emotions and minimize, right, how I have impacted you, then in a sense it dehumanizes you in my mind. And so I don't have to deal with my conscience about you. You know, you want to speak up and talk about how bad this family is or wrong the family is. Maybe you want to talk about being violated in the family, assaulted in the family. Maybe you want to talk about your mother being narcissistic, your dad not being healthy. Go ahead, because I'm just going to gossip about you and try to dehumanize you as much as I can to other people, right? So there's a dehumanizing effect sometimes within and outside of the family. You may find mom or dad or siblings talk about you with other people in the family in a way that causes that dehumanizing effect. It kind of causes them to separate you from how they feel about you. They see you in a different light, and that because you feel that. You don't feel that warm love anymore from that family member. They're now distant from you. I know you guys have dealt with this before. They're distant from you. You don't feel that bond. It's kind of torn apart a little bit, right? There may also be moral disengagement within the family dynamic. This is another impact of not being able to speak up and have your own views and your own thoughts and feelings about the family dynamic. Being told to be quiet and hush and don't talk and don't express yourself in the family dynamic, it really creates, unfortunately, moral disengagement in the dynamic, right? We talked about moral disengagement many times on this family. It really is justifying cruelty in a sense. If I don't feel morally obligated to you, then I can justify cruelty. I can justify sexual molestation that happened at the hands of your father. You know, I can justify not giving you that loan or not paying you back for that loan. I use people. Have you ever seen those family members who use you? I have a case right now where grandma used her grandson and she will not pay him back. She has the money. She has the money. She just got a really big settlement. Won't pay him back. He's written many letters. He's had his attorney threaten her. It's tiring. She won't pay him back. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. But she's justifying her behavior. There's a moral disengagement there. She has morally disengaged from her relationship with her son, with her grandson, excuse me. And that's awful. In these kind of families, there's a cluster of high risk family processes. Let me break that down for you. I'm going to put it in the chat box. In these toxic families, there is a cluster of high risk family processes. You may be wondering, what is that? Here's what I mean by high risk family processes. Okay. Parents lie or manipulate. So do the children, right? So let's say in your family, the parents lie and fantasize and minimize and don't do things that are valuable. What do you think the children in the family are going to do? The same exact thing. No one has a moral conscience, right? No one does anything right. Right? There's a moral disengagement at every level. That's what I mean when I say that there is a cluster of high risk processes in the family dynamic. There's a moral disengagement almost at every level. You don't know who to trust, right? Can't trust my cousins, can't trust my uncles, can't trust my siblings, can't trust my parents, can't trust my grandparents. Everybody is not to be trusted in my family. Can you imagine that? Or do you have that? I have a family like that now. It's like everybody is on shaky ground in some form or fashion. And I remember asking one of my clients a couple of weeks ago, can you at least trust your aunt more than you can trust your cousin? Like, is there something a little bit different with your cousin than it is with your aunt? And my client goes, I can at least trust my aunt about 50% more than I can my cousin. Ugh. And I'm like, God, this is tough. Like, how do you even navigate? How do you navigate this, you know? And it's like, okay. You know, it's like being in a field, you know, it's like being in a field full of wild animals. You have to ask yourself, would I rather be in a field with wolves or would I rather be in a field with deers? I think I would rather be in a field with deers than I would with wolves, although they are both creatures and they are both wild animals. But I think I trust the deers more than the wolves. You see where I'm going with that? You know, and it's like, oh my God, right? And so some families go through that. Some families go through that. So that's what I mean when I say there's like this cluster of high risk family processes. You know, it's problematic. And it's a cluster of problematic substances. I don't even know how to put it, right? But I see this all the time. And it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. There's not much taking of you or anybody else seriously. That's another piece of this puzzle. That's the impact here. You want to speak up, deal with things, talk about things, work through things, right? You want to get to the bottom of what's wrong with your family. You may not be able to do that, right? There's unreliability in this kind of family dynamic, right? There's chronic dishonesty, right? There's distortion of reality. Everything is skewed, right? There's inconsistent follow through. That's another part that's really ugly. Inconsistent follow through, right? There is progress interfering behaviors. Let me add this in here. Progress interfering behaviors. Progress interfering behaviors. Let me give you an example of this. Had a family 4 years ago. Nothing I did could help the family as a therapist. Nothing I did could help the family as a therapist. Why? Because there were progress interfering behaviors. Here's what would happen. Adolescent would come into therapy, learn skills. I would pull the parent into therapy, would learn skills. They'd go out the door laughing. Sometimes the kid would go out, bye, Miss Tamara. Bye, see you next session. Okay. Parent would smile at me and say, thanks so much, Tamara. I would say, you're welcome. See you next week. See you then. Okay. 3 hours later, I can't stand this little girl. She's not listening. Why do I have to deal with this? And then guess what? I would say, well, wait a minute. Are you considering this a crisis, or do you want to schedule another appointment for this week? And she's saying, I'm considering this a crisis. And I'll say, okay, well, wait a minute. Let's do it this way. Remember, I told you your crisis support would not be me. Let's contact the right people. Okay. Because I'm currently in session with someone, but let's contact. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Okay. Following week, we used all the coping skills you told us to use and everything turned out great. Okay. Wonderful. Right. Session times come. Everybody's doing well. Everything seems wonderful. Right. Next session, they leave out of my office. Boom. There's another chaos. Something else is happening again. What is happening in that scenario? Here's what's happening. It's called progress interfering behaviors. It's when life is great at school. Life is great in therapy. Life may also be good in the community, but as soon as they get home, something happens. What are progress interfering behaviors? Well, being too controlling at home, no rules or structure, name calling or disrespect, if I can spell it, lying or not being accountable, manipulating people or manipulating others, not modeling good behaviors or morals, right? Having low tolerance for daily life, etc., right? Progress interfering behaviors. There is progress, but it doesn't last. What is interfering with the progress? You're not managing your emotions. You're not teaching right behaviors. You're not controlling your anger. You're not modeling healthy behaviors. You're getting drunk. Right? Progress interfering behaviors. It gets in the way all the time. It gets in the way all the time. Sorry, guys. I can't tell if I'm hot or cold. Can you believe that? I think I'm going to listen to that kid that said to me last week, he's like, Miss Tamara, weren't you just hot last? I says, yes. And then he said something else. I can't remember what I told you he said. And he's like, I think you're going through the change of life. I thought, you know what? This session should be over right about now, but we're just going to ignore that. Okay. So what do I call it, guys? Progress interfering behaviors, right? So that's an example of that. The other thing is you're going to also see this undermining of structure. You're going to see this in the family dynamic as well. The undermining of structure. That can add a negative impact to your family dynamic. Let's say you want to speak up, you want to get help, you want to talk to people about what's going on in your family dynamic, right? You want structure. You want things to be fixed. You want things to be reorganized in the family. All the toxic, unhealthy people in your family is going to undermine all of your attempts to add that structure. They don't want structure. They want you to go along. Be quiet and go along. There you are seeking structure and organization, and they want you to be quiet. Be quiet. Don't say anything, and that only causes for you anger and distress, right? Unfortunately, you may also develop low frustration tolerance. Why? Because they're not being what they should be. And so now it's becoming a burden on you, right? You're trying to carry that burden for yourself. Tons of self-doubt. Like, you can go through self-doubt for the rest of your life because you've been labeled the black sheep, right? You've been ostracized. You've been frozen out of the family. You've had inconsistent follow through in your family. You have really dealt with a lot of wrongdoing, right? You've dealt with diffusion of responsibility. Nobody's going to step up and take responsibility for anything, right? You have also struggled with rejection, pain, and hurt, right? There's so much, a change in the narrative. It's so much, right? It can really work a major hole into your life. You may also notice that there's weak respect for rules in your family. They don't care about rules. Have you ever seen those people or those family members where the rules are the rules and there's no budging them, but they try to find some way to budge them? Somehow, some way. I deal with it all the time. Sometimes people will, I think I told this to you, for those of you who have been with me for a couple of years. I think I shared this with you a couple months ago. I had a client that called me on a Saturday night at 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday night. Okay. What did she want to tell me? Wasn't an emergency. Wasn't a crime. Wasn't a crisis. She just wanted to tell me how I triggered a thought and an emotion for her. And I was nice to her, and I waited until Monday, and I explained to her, I'm elated that you felt that what we talked about was an aha moment for you. But I asked that you not do that again, because it causes a chain reaction. When you call me at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, then it causes me to think that something's wrong. And so therefore I'm panicking because now I'm wondering what's going on. But save it for therapy and we can talk about it then. You think she got that, guys? Nope. Happened again a month later, she did it again, 2 a.m. on a Saturday or a Sunday, somewhere around in there. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Excuse me, guys. She didn't forget. She didn't care. Excuse me. And I told her, you do it again, I will be charging you $50. Right? Because now what you're doing is you are now creating a power dynamic. And I will not tolerate that. And she did it again. I charged her $50. She thought I was bluffing. And you think she did it again? Nope. Never did it again. So there you have it. She understood. I'm not playing with you. And this is not a battle of the wits. This is not a power struggle. I am not playing with you. And she never did it again. So unfortunately, you will have that within this family dynamic where there's weak respect for the rules, and sadly, there's also a piece of this. There is externalized behaviors you may see in your family. All you want to do is speak up, get help, make things better, encourage family members to talk to you and just help you make things better. But it's not going to be that easy, and you're not going to be able to do that if they have externalizing behaviors, meaning they don't work with what's going on in here. So what happens? They start externalizing all their anger outwardly, right? So they start lashing out, they start gossiping, they start stirring the pot, they start talking behind your back, right? They start doing things that has an immediate impact on you and on your life, right? And so once that happens, it's like you either have to find somewhere to hide or you have to get up a guard or something, because everything they do is going to impact you in some way. That's the goal, right? This is an ugly topic, guys. Come join me tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. The topic tomorrow is called existential threats, okay? I'm going to put it in here. It's called existential existential threats. You're going to want to know what that is tomorrow, because I think a lot of us go through that, but we don't know how to put it into words. It's really the undercurrent, passive aggressive, passive dominance, passive attitude that we have to deal with within our families, that makes it really hard for us to pinpoint when the dynamic and the mood and the attitude has shifted. And a lot of us believe that we can pinpoint when the dynamic has shifted. It's not that easy. So I talk about that tomorrow. So you're going to want to come see me then. That's going to be a little bit of a philosophical, existential, spiritual conversation, and you don't want to miss it. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the chat box, see what you guys are saying, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I feel like I'm behind. Wow, I think you're new to the chat tonight. Winchetown, can I say that? I think I can. Winchetown, it's good to see you. Welcome to the channel, and thank you so much for the super chat. I truly appreciate you tonight. Thank you so much. You said work on my self-esteem today, so I'm ready finally. Yeah, love it. Thank you so much for that very, very sweet contribution, and I'm so glad to have you on the channel. Thank you. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, here we are. Okay. I lost you guys for just a half a second. I like this. Cookie Monster Trader. Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. Cookie Monster Trader says, our light exposes their darkness, so they must dim it. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. I do. Heaven for you. I like that. I agree with that, Cookie Monster Trader. Excuse me. Heaven for you. It's so good to see you. Welcome back. Heaven for you says, so sad for kids who have to figure out their young lives on their own now that it's difficult to do. Yeah, I very much agree with that. Very much agree. I don't like seeing those cases or those kids who come through the door and they're so mommy starved, you know, and the moms are like ready to go to the club and dance, you know, ready to date the first man that walks through the door, you know, ready to go out there and hit the dance floor and the disco ball. And the kids are just sitting there like, does anybody love me? You know, and not to be judgmental, not to say that you can't have a good time every now and then. But I think I'm talking about those moms who just put their lives ahead of their children. I think that's rather selfish, you know? And those kids that come through my front door, they just look shocked. Like, you know, why is this happening to me? You know, it's very heartbreaking. Before ever free 81, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you tonight. Before ever free 81 says, I have a 21-year-old granddaughter that threw my 10-month-old kitten in the sewer. She was bipolar schizophrenia and she won't stop vaping and blunts. Oh God. She has been violent in other ways, tried to help. Oh, that's so bad. I'm so sorry to hear that. It sounds to me as if, number one, if she does have bipolar and if she does have bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, it sounds like she's self-medicating with vaping and marijuana. Vaping and marijuana, they tend to go hand in hand for people who have bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Vaping, I'm guessing, is kind of like a nicotine kind of thing for her, maybe. And marijuana is most likely self-medicating. You know, if she's willing to get into treatment, if she's not into treatment, I would also get her into a drug and alcohol program, because she, you know, she may be self-medicating there. If she's violent, in addition to self-medicating, in addition to having those disorders, that's a bad combination. That's a bad combination. My Lord. Yeah. There's a lot of legal stuff going on there, I can tell. Um, yeah. If you so um if you need guidance, feel free to email me. My email is always in the description box. Um so if you would like some guidance on kind of how to tackle that, I'm totally okay with emailing you back and giving you just a little bit of information on how to tackle that. Um, because this is my area of expertise. This is kind of where my beginning roots in treatment started. So I'm happy to give you some direction if needed. So feel free to email me. That just sounds like a big ball of treatment needs. And it's hard for most providers to figure out, do I go this way? Do I go that way? We would call her situation co-occurring, meaning that she has more than one disorder, right? She has two diagnoses, but if she's also self-medicating, she actually has three diagnoses, and all three need to be properly diagnosed and properly treated. Because if one is being properly diagnosed and treated, or two, and it's leaving out the third problem, then she's not getting the right treatment, which means, she could become violent because not all three are being properly treated, if that makes sense. So, if you need me to kind of break that down for you and give you some direction, just feel free to let me know. Okay. That's a tough one. I'm sorry that you're going through that. That's really hard. All right, let's keep moving, guys. Um, Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to catch up. I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree. Arlindo says those poor babies. I agree. Yeah, totally agree. Captain Commenter says, or asks me the question, have you ever had a client try to defend their idolatry? Yeah. Yeah. What do you think I did? That's the real question. What do you think I did? Thanks, Jessica J. She says, yes, Tamara answers her emails. I do. I do. I do. It's just, I'm buried. I'm buried. That's the problem. Captain Commenter asked me the question, have you ever had a client try to defend their adultery? Yes. And anytime that happens, okay. Yes. Phoenix said, put them in their place. Phoenix, where'd you go? Phoenix, wait a minute. You guys are cracking up. No, this is serious. Phoenix, where'd you go? Guys, they do this to me every end of the live chat. They get me so pumped up. Where'd you go, Phoenix? Oh man, I'm so behind in the comments. What is happening? Wait. Yes. 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 Phoenix knows me best. Yes. Yeah, I did. No, honestly, I referred them. I cannot deal with idolatry. Idolatry. I cannot. It doesn't. Mm-mm. That's one of those situations where someone's like, I had an affair with my husband of 25 years, and the only thing that I can get out of my mouth after that is, I will be sending you to Dr. Clark. You know what I mean? Because that is my weakness. I cannot. Dr. Clark, you have a few coming your way right now. I can't. I just can't. All right, let me get back to the comments, guys. They do this to me every time. Those of you who are new on the channel, they get me off track. They do. Lorraine. Oh, Lorraine. Phoenix is cracking up. Lorraine Huvenes. Can I say that? Oh, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. I apologize. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's so sweet of you. And welcome to tonight's live chat. If I haven't welcomed you, it's good to have you. What in in the world is he doing? I'm so sorry. My brother's upstairs working. I don't know what the heck he's doing up there. You wait until I get on YouTube and then you start working on the upstairs. I swear something's wrong with him. James May, hello, my friend. It's good to have you. Welcome to the channel. James May says, I follow. I have noticed that some mockers use their daughters and get jealous. I know. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. I'm too far back in the comments. To figure out what I was referring to. I'm sorry. Maybe somebody can enlighten me. I apologize, but at least I got a chance to welcome you to the channel. It's good to have you. Let me also welcome you to the channel, Makeup Tarot. Hello, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you tonight. Hopefully tomorrow I will have some, a little bit more time to welcome the new people to the channel. Know that I tried to get to every last one of you before I sign off. Annalise, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back tonight. She says, thank you, Tamara, for being the light in people's lives. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. And you're very welcome. You guys are worth it. Mending Hearts Worldwide Mini, I love that so much. Welcome to the channel. It's so good to have you. He says, I really didn't know how damaged I was until I started listening to cats like yours. What? Casts, not cats. Casts. I see it now. I apologize. Like yours. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry that, it's almost like a double whammy, right? Part of that is good and part of that isn't. Right. So, it's like being, awakened, but it is also a painful awakening, but I am glad that that's a light bulb moment for you. Right. So, and I'm glad you're on the channel. Hopefully as we go along, you will start to see that you can kind of heal from some of these things. Right. That's the whole point of the channel. Lily Glam, it's good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Lily Glam says, I seek my approval from God, not man. God loves us as long as we try to please him, you will be satisfied. Stay clean, keep your heart pure. Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm going to star that. I love that so much. Couldn't disagree, and I couldn't agree more. I love that. Thank you, Lily Glam. I love that. Love that so much. And I love that your name is so close to Billy Graham. I used to listen to Billy Graham every single night many years ago when I was in college. Dr. Charles Stanley, Billy Graham, and I can't think of the other one that I used to listen to, but those two were my go-tos in college, and I would listen to them every night, one earbud on, one earbud off, and I would just sleep all night. And then the next day, I was like, okay, I'm turbocharged. I can go ahead to class, So you're right. There is power and strength in that. It's so good to see that. Deb 2319, it's good to have you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. I'm just going to put your comment up there. Destabilized America, thank you for the super chat. That's so sweet of you. I appreciate you for that. Destabilized America says, my own family dynamic rules for thee, not for me. I'm glad to go no contact with them. The less communication I have with them, the better I feel. Sometimes that is a hard truth that you have to accept, right? And that is a clue right then and there. This is not okay. Right? That this is not a healthy thing for me. I feel free. I feel alive without you. And that is a clue. You know how you can spend time with a person and then and there that I feel this way with you and I feel this way without you. It's the same thing. If I feel trapped with you and I feel free without you, that's a sign, right? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. Yeah. All right, let me make sure I get at least most of you tonight. So bear with me. James Mitchell says, humiliation ritual is deep. I don't disagree. I love this. Heaven for You says, daughter has bipolar disorder, no marijuana, as it makes symptoms worse. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It works on the same brain pathways that bipolar disorder and schizophrenia often affect. So keep that in mind. Marijuana often affects the same area of the brain that bipolar and schizophrenia affects, right? If you keep that in mind, then it makes sense as to why it can sometimes make things worse. Yeah. Okay, let's keep moving, guys. Then we're going to wrap up. Yeah. Jessica J says, there's so much love and kindness in this chat tonight. So good to see y'all. So good to see it all. Oh, thank you so much, Jessica J. She says Tamara is simply the best. Thank you so much. And I do feel that love and respect and safety in the community tonight. I think it's beautiful. And I'm so, so glad to see that. And thank you. That's so sweet of you. Yeah. Yeah, that's so sweet. So sweet. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Fluffy Falconite, I don't want to go off without seeing you. Welcome to the chat tonight. It's good to see you, Dr. Clark. I don't want to miss you. Welcome to tonight's live chat. It's so good to see you. You're welcome. Yeah, that's awesome. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to put you up here, Lady Sarita. It's good to see you. Welcome back tonight. I love when YouTube bans a troll. I was just getting ready to ban somebody, and I'm like, let me ban this person, and YouTube's like, got him. Let's keep moving. Enzo Puopolo. Can I say that? I'm so sorry if I messed that up. Forgive me. Welcome to tonight's live chat. It's good to see you. Enzo Puopolo says, wow, they are not disorders. It's the circumstances. I don't understand. I don't quite understand that comment. Let me read this to myself for a second. Genuine and needs to leave if she is getting violent. Wow, they are not disorders. It is the circumstances. She is probably being genuine and needs to leave if she's getting violent. Are we talking about we may be talking about the lady's daughter? Is that what we're talking about? I think we were talking about the lady's daughter. Okay. I think we're talking about the lady's daughter who's using marijuana and has bipolar and schizophrenia. Everybody has their opinion about it. But, let me just say the research stands. It is most likely the disorders. And in addition to the marijuana use, it all collides, King Shania, can I say that? Welcome to tonight's live chat. It's good to have you tonight. It's good to have you tonight. All right, bear with me, guys, as I'm just scrolling to see if I missed anyone. Bear with me, guys. Thank you, Heaven for You. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really do. I didn't, did I? It is diabolical. Real B303. Hello, welcome back tonight. It's good to see you. Real B303 says, why marry to step out of your vows? Exactly. You stole you want to sit here? Yes. Think it can always be worse. Exactly. Accept the past because it can't be changed, or it can't change, or we can't change it. we just keep moving forward. Stay balanced, safe, warm, and strong. Here's the thing. Just get a divorce. Get a divorce, separate, say goodbye, but don't step out of your vows, right? Just leave. That's my whole thing. My grandfather, you guys know this, those of you who have been with me for a long time. My grandfather was with my grandmother for many, many years and decided to have an affair with one of their friends. And, it really broke the family in half. And, I used to look at the photo albums. My family was really big. And from my grandfather's side to my grandmother's side, our family was huge. And I just used to be like, look through our photo albums. We had like 5 to 7 photo albums. And I would just look through them, like friends galore, family members, and, and I would just look at my grandfather and think, why would you have an affair? And we have so many family members. Like they had so many family members all around them. You had a huge wedding. And then on top of that, you have friends all around you who know you guys are husband and wife. You have children. Why would you do this? Just walk away. It looks better. It's more respectful. And it keeps your family dignified. And it allows you to walk away with dignity. Just get a divorce or separate, right? And then divorce. But, it is what it is, right, guys? But I can't work with that. That's not my area of expertise. And, if I know somebody is actively having an affair on somebody else, the first thing I think is, number one, safety, right? You don't know who you're sleeping with. There's no safety there. There's no protection for the other person. There's no, there's just no commitment. There's nothing. So that other person who's believing that they are only with their husband or only with their wife is under a false lie, right? Under this false assumption, not knowing that their spouse is over there with BB, right? So it's a lot there that I don't like to unravel, and I can't wrap my mind around it. So anytime I get a case of adultery, you're going back there to Dr. Tiffany, because I can't do it. You know what I mean? Fluffy Falcon Eat says, Tamara, can you make a live on how to reparent ourselves? Yep. I'm starting it right now. I sure can. I sure can. That's my favorite topic. So yes, I sure can. All right. Actually, Jovial, I almost missed you. It's good to see you. Welcome back tonight. It's good to see you. All right, guys, we got to sign off. I'm going to try to... Sorry, guys. Wait a minute. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to get... I'm going to try to throw in there. I'm sorry, guys. I was looking through comments. I'm going to try to throw in there some Tuesday live chats if I can. It looked like you guys really like those Tuesday live chats. So if I can fit some of those in, look out for them. So I think you guys like those. I like them too. All right, guys. I think, yeah, Pastor Stanley. Yeah. Through the darkness. I think I'm going to try to do that more often. Let me close that sentence up. Then I'll start the new sentence. Through the darkness. It's good to see you, my friend. Welcome back tonight. It's good to have you. Pastor Stanley. Yeah. The good glow. Thank you. Yes, I was just deleting the troll. Absolutely. Don't you hate that? It's like, look, can't you see we're not paying attention and you go somewhere? You know what I mean? Lord. And here's what's also interesting about trolls. They don't understand that if the audience is not responding to you and what you're saying is not bothering the orator or the moderator or the person who's talking, go somewhere, right? So yeah, yeah. But I got them the good glow. I just banned them from the channel. Goodbye. So hopefully I got them all. Hopefully I got them all. Actually, Jovial, thank you for that. Actually, Jovial says, Tamara, you're so honest and vulnerable with us. Idolatry being a weak point that uh, deters your patience in service is very personal. Thank you so much. Yeah, it really is. It is. It is. It is. But I rather be honest than not, though. You know what I mean? Thank you for becoming a member. Wichita. It's so good to have you. So glad to have you on the channel as a member. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. We're going to talk about existential threats. Those are the threats from family members and the threats that may not even feel like threats that are underneath the surface. And you may walk away feeling threatened. You may walk away feeling hurt. You may walk away feeling, like something's wrong. You may walk away feeling guilty when you shouldn't, right? But you just know something's wrong and you don't like it, but you can't pinpoint it. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So come join me tomorrow. All right, guys. So it's good to see you. Thank you for coming and being here with me tonight. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. All right, guys. Good night.